Okay, welcome back. So this is part two of the last video I made, which was about getting the system up and running for a real client. If we look at this board here, we've got the UI pretty much. What we're waiting now to do in this session is do the logic, right? We're gonna vibe code the logic, implement a RAG system, and have filters. Okay, that's what we're gonna do in this video. So just to show you guys, this is the plan we made in the last video. I know it doesn't look like much here, but if you watch the video, I actually explained and I talk you through the whole process of how we went from the client's message, what they sent us to build, all the way to how you get something like this. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back in here and we can go ahead and look at this, right? So this is where we had reached last time. I'm going to decide to go ahead and launch the server so I can see the UI. Just so you guys can have a look at what it is, in case maybe you've not been here before and you haven't seen it, what it really is. So we'll just obviously run the development. It's going to open it here. All right, so this is what it looks like right now. You can see how it creates the actual safety filter test. I'm a crypto exchange looking for promoters. So what it's done clearly is it's taken this approach of saying that in the case of a band niche, which we have here, if we go look at the Gemini MD file, you can see step two was forbidden was crypto as well. So in that case, all it's done is create super low ratings, right? I versus this one we got 23% and this one we have 32%, 24% match. Okay, so what I'll say is that we need to work on the logic now. So I'm going to open a new agent. I'm going to say add Gemini MD, which in directives file, create a checklist for the entire project we are building. I'll just so you can see it has a good understanding of the project. Important note, and I made a LinkedIn post about this. While I was building a different agent, I realized that probably the most impactful thing you can do to make this run properly is referencing Gemini.md in every message I send. I will reference it. So if you're on Mac, here's what we can do, right? We can go to keyboard shortcuts, okay? And what we can do is go to function keys, modifier keys. We want to look for a way. Did it? Okay. Keyboard shortcuts, and then select the category in the sidebar. I don't think this is the way that we should do it. Okay, we'll just press plus. I'm gonna call it Gemini file. Keyboard shortcut is, let's just say, anti-gravity. How do you? Okay. What exactly happens though if I type shift? Nothing happens, right? So that's not the way. So it's text replacement. So we're going to go here and type text replacements and open the keyboard setting. Okay. And here we're going to add another one, which is going to be replace #g with @gemini.md. I'm gonna add that and say done. All right, there we go. Way easier. We've asked it to make a checklist, which it has. Here it is. Phase one, the foundation is okay. Matching algorithm, natural language processing, extract hard constraints from natural language, extract soft constraints from natural language. Forbidden niches, filter, not safe for work, gambling, and crypto pump, pricing, extreme detection, phase three. Completed in phase, no, sorry, phase mostly complete. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and let's get started now. I want to start by building out the logic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is maybe I want to confirm if my goal is aligned with the goal of the agent. So I'm going to say an example flow would be something like this, where the user is the brand, right? Then you have anti-gravity, which is what it will do, and then we have it to display on the UI. So I'm going to just say confirm that this is the goal. And we're going to let it do that. So anyways, while it does that, what we can do is I can explain a bit about what is actually happening here. We're going to take the leads or the dummy data in this case, the one that he gave us, and we're gonna put it into a vector database. So that means we need a vector database. To do that, we'll use Pinecone because Pinecone is a free database, is a free vector database that we can use. So if I go here and I open Pinecone, I already have an account. You can sign up. It's completely free. You get like I think five for free without any payment or anything like that. So I've used quite a few of them already because Pinecone is a great starting place for having databases. Like I have Inspiration, which is for LinkedIn. Okay, so I have quite a few of them, but I think I've reached my max now. So I don't know if that's the one that I'm gonna really, but whatever. So I'll go ahead and I'll delete this one here because I have a different writing agent, so I don't need that. All right, then we'll have to come. I'm just gonna call this lead matching system. And okay, as far as the text embedding goes, we can pick a model. I use GPTs usually, but let's see if this one has a different recommendation. What needs to reach the goal? A database layer, an embedding generation, NLP query parser, and a hybrid query SQL filter. All right, here's what we'll start by doing. We'll go new file, make a .env file. Here is where I'm gonna paste my OpenAI API key. So okay, I'm gonna get my OpenAI API key, and I'm just gonna go ahead and paste it here. So I have it there, OpenAI API key. I've obviously covered most of it. You're not supposed to share those keys. So I have it here. And the next thing I'm going to do is my thing. So I'm going to say text embedding 3 small because it's very cost effective. We'll do 1536 as the dimensions and we'll keep the rest the same. I'm just going to create this index. Now I'm going to go to API keys. I'll make a new API key. I'm going to call this lead matching system. I'm going to generate this key. As you can see, it just comes like this. You can press copy the key, close this. I'll go back here and I'm gonna make my new one, which is gonna be Pinecone API key and paste in the Pinecone API key. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna say let's get started with the I have made a Pinecone index called lean system. I used text embedding 3 small by OpenAI. The dimensions are 1536, 1536. My Pinecone API key and OpenAI API key are in the env file so you can reference them. And I'll just copy this, put it here, and I'll copy this and put it there. Okay, so let's send that. As you can see, we're doing very little work. It's a lot of just talking with the agent, and I would say that some knowledge about the structure of this is obviously going to be very useful for you. You see, it says that I can see the env file appears empty. And the reason for that is because I didn't save it. So if I press Command S and I save it and I run it again, it's managed to get the data here, which means now I'm going to have to delete these after the video comes out. But anyways. Okay, so it's got the API keys which it needs for the system, which means that now we can really just sit back and let it do its thing. What it's going to do now is it's going to go ahead and make a vector database. So I can just kind of tell you what that means. It's basically like it's based on the meanings of words. Okay, so for example, like I mentioned in another video, if you have marketing and you have direct response, those words are different things. But if I search for help with advertising, I should get people in marketing and people in direct response. I should get them both. And the way I can get them both is if I search a vector database, because those words will be close together with the word marketing. So when I search for marketing, I get connected to these two other words, right? That's a vector database. It doesn't actually take the word, it takes the meaning of the word and mathematically gives it a coordinate, and everything with closer coordinates are all similar meaning words. So that's how it works. That's what it's going to make. It's going to use Pinecone, which already is existing, and I already have an account, but that's pretty much where it's going to go. So the vector schema stores platform, budget, and niches as the metadata. So what I think we would do instead of this is I would say what we could do is create a database and also have a vector database. But to do this, we might need to use something like Supabase or Postgres or something like that. So it's saying that it wants to take in the it wants to take in the certain aspects, like where did it say? What's it actually going to ingest? Yeah, platform, budget, and niche. Well, I'd say we also need to ingest. Okay, I'll say the vector schema should also some bio and past work. Mock Let's also store bio and past work. Now this one doesn't really have bio. There's no really bio there. So we'll store past work. Right, let's also store past work. And then the next thing I'm gonna say is let's probably find a way to connect this to a table. Okay, I'm gonna ask, is there a way to store a table in Pinecone so that we something like this? We'll have a schema, right? We need a schema. So something like this, where we'll have table A, right, which will be users. We have the ID, the email, the user type, create at. Table B, searchable profiles. Table C, the past work portfolio, and table D, the vector embeddings. Open one is to use Pinecone only, which is a simpler current approach. Store flattened metadata in Pinecone. Store full profile JSON in metadata for display. No relational database data, but limited querying flexibility. Okay, since we're only building an MVP, we'll just go with number one. So I'll let it proceed with this. Okay. It's really crazy that in a couple of minutes we can have something running that's actually incredibly functional. This is insane, right? Like it's literally doing everything. It's doing it all. It's doing it all. I'm gonna pause this and come back when we have something substantial. So as you can see, it's now creating seed script to upsert mock data to Pinecone. So it's gonna do that. Obviously, we could have built out this entire system in NA10. There's obviously, I'll make a video on that if you guys want to see that, but the main idea is that we're looking at what AI is becoming, lately it's just growing super fast and becoming very powerful. This is a great example of that. The things we can build in anti-gravity are crazy. Like, I mean, yesterday, for me to go back to the client and be like, well, I have an MVP ready for you in a day is pretty incredible. And he's obviously not dumb, and he knows it's obviously me using powerful IDEs like this one, which is the reason that we have managed to pull it off the way we have. But it's just incredible. Okay, so there's been a bit of an issue. I'll switch to Gemini 3 Pro High and I'll say retry because now this thing has a problem. Missing API key for Pinecone. I'm using .env, so I inject environment variables, troubleshoot the env file. Well, the env file has the actual API key in it, so this shouldn't be that much of a problem. Processing influencers. It's gonna go through all of the dummy data that we gave it. collaborators. This is already in the first video. We stored all of this in a file. Upserting 23 vectors to Pinecone. Cool. So if we go look at Pinecone, check my lead matching system, you can see they're now starting to populate the vector database. And we've got a lot of important stuff that it's storing, which is great, right? That's perfect. So it's the seed. This is running. There seems to be an error. Let's test this. The current page data has simulate text search, which constructs a query. I should probably check what that does. I'll proceed to the creating the script. Here we have test matchings.tf. Seed complete, total profiles 23, 6 influencers, 15 collaborators, and 2 brands. Testing, crypto expert for YouTube. Filtered out high prices and wrong platforms. Vector search found the closest matching among the survivors. Checking for any lint errors. Okay. So obviously the next step would be we need to connect this logic to the actual UI, right? Which we have already. Functioning UI. I don't have a functioning UI yet. So you can see it's kind of made for us a thing here, which is the Pinecone integration walkthrough, hard filter, platform contains and budget is not the max, soft filter, vector similarity, and safety filter retrieval check for forbidden niches and bad actors. If you modified the mock.ts, run this to update Pinecone, verifying matching, run this test for simulated query. Okay. Okay, good. Now, so out of the, well, there seems to be 2 errors here. So I don't know what that's about. I'm going to say that drop these 2 files here. Errors. Okay, so obviously if you're not gonna code this, then you need to be able to check what's the progress looking like, you know? We want to check what's the progress looking like. Implementation plan. So it fixed them all. I'll accept that. So I'm gonna say okay, based on the project checklist, what do we need to do next? Currently is using manually constructed. So there's no way for the user to type I need a crypto expert and have it work in the UI, the UI output, and then we have some advanced features. I'll recommend an NLP query parser, which is the highest priority right now. Okay, I agree. So because we're in the planning mode, it always gives us a plan. So you can see this and text to query engine like converts natural. Input like a raw string processing is for O mini, which extracts JSON. That's fine. Output is the search query object. Yeah, good. Go for that. So you can see it's now created this, found one match. It did crypto expert for YouTube max 50K as the search query. Okay, so we can let it run. Just let it run. All right, so as you can see, it's implemented an NLP search query in the UI. I'm gonna press accept all. I'm gonna open up the UI, which we had here, which is obviously done. So I'm gonna say run the dev so I can test the UI. And yeah, so we open this up, come here. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, I mean, as you can see, it freaking destroyed it completely. The UI is done for. We'll get that back in a second. Mm, I'm gonna run it myself so that I can just look at the errors properly. So I'm gonna say npm run dev. Where's the app? I'm a YouTuber looking for a video editor. Matches found. Okay, so it got the matches. So it's working, but you completely messed up the entire UI design. And now we'll just try to get that back. So, this is just like an important part of building for real people, real clients, doing real work, is that you are gonna, it's not like you can depend on the AI for everything. There's gonna be issues. Um, that's correct, yeah. There's gonna be issues and bugs, and you're gonna have to do your part to fix them and to get them to be rectified. And in this case, what we're trying to do is now merge an old version UI with a new version functioning UI. So we can have this look, but this functionality. Obviously, it didn't think about the UI when it redid the UI in terms of getting it to display the output and changing the boxes to allow for NLP, which is okay because we can obviously get the UI fixed. Not a hard thing to do. But my point is, there's always going to be stuff that you have to sit down and work with it. You know, the good, like, it's like you can code in English now, which is great. But at the end of the day, building software is building software, and things are going to go wrong. And you have to be able to understand where it went wrong and then try and figure out how to make it go right. So that's just a big part of it. Okay, seems very motivated. So it's saying I have implemented the following change. I mean, okay. Yeah, no. No, that's not what the UI looked like before at all. That might be because of the current issues with the, which it's, as you can see, it's detected them. So I wonder if that'll change anything. Matchmaker.ai. No match is found. Well, that's a forbidden one, so I'm not really too pressed about that. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show it a screenshot of what the UI used to look like, and I'll say, this is what the UI is supposed to look like. So I've put in this, I'm gonna switch it to Opus 4.5 and say, this is what the UI is supposed to look like. And I've given it a screenshot. Hopefully it'll understand the difference. We'll deal with the error later. The error is coming because it's a forbidden niche that we've put in. So we need to just basically have error handling, which isn't hard to do. So it's saying that the issue it thinks is that because it's implemented the right stuff, that tailwind configuration is the issue. So it's gonna fix that right now and see if that's the problem or not. I showed it, this is what yours looks like. This is what it's supposed to look like. It found the right things. No rounded corners, buttons stacked vertically, no proper cross styling. This looks like the tailwind CSS might not be loading correctly. I'm gonna press retry. Let it do this thing. So the agent is really struggling with the UI. I mean, I've been going back and forth with it for a while now, and it still won't do it. The UI looked great before. So here's the thing, right? Worst case scenario, if it doesn't get it, what we will have to do is go ahead and tell it to completely lay out the logic properly, and we'll make sure that it's fully functional. And then we will open up a new agent and tell it not to touch any of the logic. Here's the feature list, what we need in the UI. Here's your inspiration. Here's the color palette. Build out the UI. You see? So, yeah. All right, let's kill this server. We'll run it again. Yeah, so it's clearly not gonna work. So we're gonna, okay. This is not working. We will make sure the logic and backend are fully functional, then I will handle the UI later. So it's gonna go ahead and make sure the logic is as functional as it needs to be, and then we will build the UI after that. All right, so I don't know what exactly happened really, because I said this here, it's not working. I was referring to the UI. All of a sudden, the UI is working. You can see if I click this, it's actually checking the vector database. If I click this, it's actually checking the vector database, and it's giving us proper ones. And if I go crypto search, okay, so we have everything for the most part. So I'm gonna be like, okay, the UI also seems to. Um, so don't touch anything over there. Okay, we'll just say that. But we'll make a few things about it. One is that, where is it going? All right, let's just open it again. Post. One is that, so quick examples, when clicked, should become yellow. Right now, the first example, tech brand YouTuber, is yellow, but clicking other quick examples does not turn them yellow. Two, crypto search should return no matches found with crypto explicitly mentioned profiles. Three, the minimum number of cards returned for a successful search should be 3. Yeah, it's crazy. All of a sudden we have this one that it's working, and it's literally compiling it here. It's checking the vector database, which is pretty insane. So we'll check the natural language in a bit. Let's let this thing run on a little bit of the UI bugs right now. Okay, so it seems to magically have I didn't really tell it much, but it simply managed to fix the UI up, right? So this is working very well now. So honestly, I was very surprised by how well like it managed to turn the UI into this thing. And what's funny is I said it's not working, so leave it. Like I said, okay, the UI is not working. We'll do the logic first, make the backend functional. I'll handle the UI later. It managed to just cook it. Then I mentioned that we wanted to have changes to this. The quick examples should turn yellow when they're active. The crypto search should return we don't work with crypto pumpers. Same for all other explicitly mentioned profiles. And the minimum number of card returned for a successful should be at minimum 3. So if I open this, it's okay. It only found 2. Now you can't guarantee 3 really, but it should be able to. In some cases, we will be able to get 3. We don't support searches for crypto, RCT guidelines for gambling, adult content, and crypto pump schemes. So if I go here and I say I am a not safe for work content creator looking for a video max, I'll just put 50K and I press search. Perfect. But if I say I am a TikTok influencer, I'm just going to say influencer, looking for a video editor, max 50K. As you can see, there's a bunch of people that this can work for. So suffice to say the logic and the UI is working, which were basically the only things. Scoring logic is good. The data source is basically all the dummy profiles in the JSON. The categories, we have a 3-way ecosystem. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. Like as far as I'm concerned, that's functional. That's an MVP. We'll send it over to the client. The thing with these projects and the good thing is that nobody expects you to build the functional final design on your very first try. It's really very difficult to do that. So the good thing is as we progress further and we do more and the client tests it out and uses it and gives us more dummy data to plug in the system, we'll be going back and forth over this, and this is just the beginning of the project, not the end of the project. But I hope you liked it. I hope you saw what it's really like to build an actual client-facing use case, and I hope you saw that it's not really about like, if you're, how do I put this? Okay, 20 minutes ago, I had nothing. I had a message, not 20. 2 hours ago, I had nothing but a message from a client who said they wanted a lead matching system, right? 2 hours later, we have a system here where I can say I'm a TikTok influencer looking for a video editor. My max budget is 50K. We've got one match. I run it again. What's funny is it shouldn't give us only one match. Okay, that's pretty weird. Yeah. So, hope you liked it. See you in the next one, where we'll go back to some more NA and stuff.